Welcome to this training brought to you by the North San Diego County Realtors, where we turn real-world case interpretations published by the National Association of Realtors into practical lessons that strengthen your understanding of the Code of Ethics in action. Today's focus: obligation to protect clients' interest from Case Interpretation 1-7 under Article 1 of the Realtor Code of Ethics. Let's begin with Article 1 of the Realtor Code of Ethics, which provides the ethical foundation for this case. This article makes it clear your role as a realtor involves more than just facilitating transactions. You are expected to act professionally and take reasonable precautions to protect your client's interests, especially when entrusted with their property. In this case, a realtor listed a home for a military client who had relocated, but the way the property was handled raised serious ethical concerns.
Client A military officer, was transferred to a new duty assignment and listed his home for sale with Realtor B as the exclusive agent. He moved to his new assignment with the understanding that Realtor B, as the listing broker, would obtain a buyer as soon as possible. After 6 weeks, during which no word had come from Realtor B, the client made a weekend visit back to his former community to inspect his property. He learned that Realtor B had advertised the house vacant, owner transferred, and found an open sign on the house but no representative present. Upon inquiry, Client A found that Realtor B never had a representative at the property, but continually kept an open sign in the yard. Client A discovered that the key was kept in a combination lockbox, and when Realtor B received calls from potential purchasers about the property, he simply gave the callers the address, advised that the key was in the lockbox, gave them the combination, and told them to look through the house by themselves and to call him back if they needed other information or wanted to make an offer. Client A filed a complaint with the Association of Realtors detailing these facts and charging Realtor B with failure to protect and promote a client's interest by leaving Client A's property open to vandalism and by not making appropriate efforts to obtain a buyer. Realtor B's defense during the hearing was that his advertising of the property was evidence of his effort to sell it. He stated, without being specific, that leaving keys to vacant listed properties in lockboxes and advising callers to inspect property on their own was a common local practice. The hearing panel concluded that Realtor B was in violation of Article 1 of the Code of Ethics because he had failed to act in a professional manner consistent with his obligations to protect and promote the interests of his client. Realtor B permitted and enabled buyers to access the property on terms other than authorized by the seller as required by Standard of Practice 1-16.
Here's what happened. Client A was a military officer who was transferred to a new duty station. Before leaving, he signed a 90-day exclusive listing with Realtor B. Realtor B ran an ad that said vacant, owner transferred, and then nothing. 6 weeks went by and the client had heard no updates. When Client A returned for a weekend visit, he was stunned by what he found. The house had an open sign out front, but no one was there. He learned that Realtor B was not attending showings, but instead leaving the key in a lockbox and giving the combination to anyone who asked. Prospective buyers were being told to let themselves in, completely unaccompanied. Client A immediately filed an ethics complaint with the local association. He accused Realtor B of failing to protect and promote his interest as required under Article 1. His complaint pointed to several concerns, including leaving the property exposed to vandalism, failing to conduct supervised showings, and not communicating at all for 6 weeks. This wasn't just unprofessional, it felt like negligence. In his defense, Realtor B said his advertising efforts proved he was trying to sell the property. He also claimed that allowing buyers to access properties through lockboxes was a common local practice, but he offered no proof that the client had authorized this practice or that it was part of their agreement. The hearing panel found Realtor B in violation of Article 1. They concluded that he had failed to act in a professional manner consistent with his ethical duty to protect his client's interest. The panel also cited Standard of Practice 1-16, which states that realtors must not give access to a property on terms other than those authorized by the seller. Simply put, this realtor gave out the key without oversight, without permission, and without concern for the client's safety or interest. Here are your key takeaways. Unsupervised showings, even if locally common, can violate both ethical standards and client trust. What's common practice is never a substitute for clear, written client authorization. When handling vacant property, realtors are expected to exercise reasonable care and oversight. And most importantly, Standard of Practice 1-16 is clear. Do not provide access unless your client has authorized it. Put yourself in Realtor B's shoes. Would you ever give out a lockbox access without supervision? What communication, security, and showing protocols could have helped maintain trust? And how would you have handled the property while the seller was hundreds of miles away? Thanks for joining us for this case interpretation review. Ethical practice isn't just about closing deals. It's about protecting the people who trust you with their most valuable assets. Protect your client's trust, act with honesty and loyalty, and stay grounded in the code. For more real-world training and resources, visit www.youtube.com/@NSDC Realtors.